Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to the channel. Gloria Parra here for Hip Kit Club today. And today for this video, I will be working with the June Pocket Full of Sunshine kit. And just let me tell you, this kit is full of sunshine, full of sweetness, of fruits, of everything that makes your summer so magical. So I'm really excited to dive. I just created one layout for now. So yeah, I am really excited to dive into all this gorgeous pieces and the awesome colors that make this kit so special. So I'm gonna flip really fast through the paper so you can just see what this kit is made of. And you can, of course, check it out on their webpage. You can get an extra 10% discount if you use my code Gloria at checkout. So yes, you have the main kit, you have the essentials cardstock kit, and all the embellishments that you can dream of. So for today, friends, I have the assignment of transforming paper. And for that assignment, I have two ideas. The first idea that I have is working with this awesome hexagon pattern. You get the hexagons on one side, the colorful ones, and smaller hexagons on the back. So I really love that shape. And the other idea that I had, and I want to show it to you because maybe you don't like one, but you are tempted to use the other one, is creating with this super fun scallop pattern paper. And this one is called Keeping Cool. And I just love how fun that would be to cut this paper, all these scallops, and just layer them with strips of the hexagon pattern on the back or another green one. And for that, I was thinking that it would be wonderful to create a layout that's, you know, monochromatic and just concentrate on those blues and greens. So if I have time, friends, I will create both layouts for you. But let's start. I really love this pattern. I love color. So I think I'm gonna create two corners. I will cut and transform this paper to create two corners here or on any of my opposite sides and start transforming this beautiful pattern paper into something that's gonna give me something new and very creative. So let's create together. Okay, friends, so let's start with our layout. And the idea is to create two fun hexagon corners using this grid paper as our background. So here I have three photos of my daughter, and let me tell you a little bit of the backstory. So we recently traveled to the States and we went to this fabulous candy store called It's Sugar. And my girl just went bananas there. So she wanted a challenge that whatever fits in her hands is what she would take. So she went running all around the store, getting all the toys. You know, they have this very trendy plushies and toys all around the store. And she's not really into candy that much, but she went crazy running all around and getting all the fun toys that she could. Of course, she did not get all of those things in the photo and in her hands, so she had to choose her favorites. And I just want to talk about that super fun challenge that she invented, that she came up with in that moment. So it's a fun story. We had so much fun. And my other daughter, the smallest one, was running around getting all the candies because she just adores sweets, and she didn't look at all the toys. She just went to the candies. So that's the story I want to tell today. So let's start, friends. For these technique, I think we will use a pencil just to sketch out the corner that we want to create here. So my idea, friends, is just to go around the shapes, okay, and cut around it, and that's where we will have the main piece. We can then cut other hexagons and layer them on top, or we can try to do something fun. But as a first thing, we need to cut just one corner here and another here. So I think I'm gonna start with this green one and just very lightly create like a little line there, so you can then go in with your scissors and know exactly where you're gonna cut. And a little tip, I think I don't want to go just straight, you know? I just want to create some fun and unexpected hexagons on my track, you know? So I'm gonna come in this one, and then we can erase those lines, and nothing happened there. But to start, we will draw those lines just so we know where we will cut. So now let's start the cutting, friends. And I'm sure you can't see my pencil lines, but you will see the result of my cutting in a minute. And you know, I can always cut a little hexagon if I think it's too much somewhere. So I've left a couple together, you know, so I can just go in if I think I want less on that side. You're gonna get it in 1 minute. Okay, so there we have our first corner. I will go ahead and erase those pencil lines, but I really like how that's looking. Okay, I'm gonna cut my little strip here, my border, and get the other corner. And that's what I was telling you, friends, that I left a couple together, and maybe I will go in and cut this green one here if I want to have a couple of them, you know, like this one, like floating around. So that's something that you can do. But I will look at that when I have my photos and my embellishments. And now I'm gonna repeat the same process with this other corner, okay? So I'm gonna start here at this pink hexagon, and I'm just gonna see where my eye takes me. This has no way of doing it. It's just what looks good to your eye. It really just follow your instinct here, friends. There's no right or wrong way to do it. All right, friends, I have my two corners ready, and I'm loving how this is looking already. And I went ahead and took it a little further. So I decided to add some stitches, actually some holes first, on a couple of my hexagons. So I am skipping some of them and adding some holes, perforating holes on others. So as you can see, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I just skipped a couple and drew a line. Okay, for this I used my Omni Grid ruler to draw a line around all the hexagon, and I then perforated my holes. So I'm going to show you how I do one. I'm going to try to get as close as possible. And this is usually how I like to do. So I first use my ruler to draw with my pencils some lines and get as best as possible that straight line. And then I use this pursing tool to start perforating my holes. And I actually prefer doing my holes freehand when I have this like awkward shapes. When I have straight lines, I love using my OmniGrid ruler, but for this, I prefer doing it just with my eye. So I just calculate approximately 1/8 of an inch between each hole. And that's how I like starting. I just perforate the first corner and the second corner, and I then start creating the holes that go between those two first holes. So yes, this is handmade, friends. It's not gonna be perfect, so don't stress about it. With practice, you get better. Like anything, practice makes perfect, right? And actually, we're not aiming for perfection here. We're aiming for just that homemade feel, and I love that stitching gives that feel to my projects. Okay, so I'm gonna perforate my holes all around my hexagons that still need to be perforated, and then I will come in with all my stitches, and for that I've chosen the ones that coordinate with my colors in this beautiful hexagon pattern paper. Okay, so I'll be back when everything is already stitched. And voila, my hexagons are stitched. I hope you can see some of that texture. I love how chunky it feels and that homemade feel that it adds. I usually, friends, use, if you've never stitched before, this is the embroidery thread that you use for this paper stitching. And the floss usually comes with 6 strands, if you can see them here. So friends, I usually use 3 strands of the floss, but for this layout, I really wanted those hexagons to look and feel chunky. So I decided to use all 6 strands, all the piece, and just add that texture and that awesome feeling to those 2 corners. So as you can see, the back is not nice. It doesn't look pretty, but I just needed to add all that foam to level things up and to have that piece flat. So for that, I used a 1 millimeter thick foam adhesive and added on the back of both corners there. And I'm gonna adhere those pieces and come back. So I have my 2 corners adhered, and I've actually left a couple free of adhesive. That way I just did not remove the backing from the adhesive. That way I can tuck my photos behind it and add my journaling and all the little trinkets and elements. Okay, so I know, friends, that stitching is not for everyone. I know that some of you may not be into it, may not have the time, or want to go through all the hassle. So don't worry, it's not necessary. Your layouts will look as awesome as if they had stitching or not. So don't worry about it. But really, I think it doesn't take that long. So it took me between an hour and a half or 2. But I don't do it in one sitting. I take these pieces out whenever I'm with my girls in the park or whenever I'm waiting on school pickup. So I stitch whenever I can. So it's just something that really distracts me and I love it. So now I'm bringing in my photos, and as you can see, it has a little frame. And for that, I use the Pocket Life kit. I just adore getting this kit every month because it's super, super useful to frame my photos and to cut apart all the little elements. So here I'm going to tuck my photos in behind the corners, and I will have to adhere that little hexagon there, the yellow one, because I forgot to leave the backing on that one. And you can always use your powder tool to take the adhesive off. And then, you can press it hard and some of the adhesive stays there. So yeah, I love using my powder tool. So I have my 2 photos. I have them a little askew so I don't have them straight. I love creating those layers on my photos as well. So let's adhere my photos to the background. And I have some pencil marks there so I can guide myself. And I love this grid pattern paper because it makes things super easy to line up, right? This hip kit pattern papers are just so beautiful, friends. And whenever I'm placing my photos, I try to be very aware of not leaving that trapped space. So just move things around until you feel that they look good. Here, I'm going to use this orange 3x4 card for my journaling. And I will have to cut it a little because I already have the adhesive behind my photo. And that way I can tuck it in. But I think I like the other side better, so I will flip it, friends, because you're sometimes not sure on what side you like better. And here I will have to flip it, and I will bring in my trimmer to make sure that the line is straight. Because, friends, I don't cut straight, so we better use the trimmer to get a perfect line. And that looks better. And you can always handwrite your journaling, and I love adding my handwriting. But really, it's so much easier to scan my tag to bring it to my computer and add more words. My letter is big, so I usually can't add that much journaling to my pages, and that's why I prefer typing it out. So here I'm bringing in my title, Memories, and I'm in love with this resist chipboard pieces included in the June kit. I I love them white as they are. They are super chunky, and I love the form of the letters. They're very whimsical, just so pretty. So if you decide to leave them white, they are gorgeous as they are. But here, friends, I want to show you how I used the magical Lindsay powders here. And I used the yellow and the pink one. I just grabbed a little water and the yellow powder and put it like in the middle of the word. And then I went on the borders with the pink. And I love the ombre feel that this technique gave it. So if you have those powders, give it a try. It just makes those little pops and textures pop out more. So my title will read Sweet Memories because, being in a store full of sweet, that sounds like a great title option. And I was trying to figure out the placement for my title. And I was trying really hard to use that circle. That circle is from the Pocket Life kit as well. So I'm trying to nestle my titles. I love nestling my titles in my photos or in a little corner wherever I can. And I want to layer those two words together. Okay, so I'm going to have to pop the memories word up because I need to level it up to my hexagons. And here I decided to use the circle behind the sweet words because it really reminds me of the store signs that you usually see. So yeah, I decided to put it right in the middle, and I love that placement. So I'm gonna add some foam adhesive because if you know me, friends, you know I love popping everything up. So I'm popping that with a 1mm foam adhesive and nestling it in the middle of my circle. And there it is. I finally decided that I loved how the sweet word looked right in the middle of my two photos since I have that white space between both of them. So yeah, I adhered there and I'm gonna pop the memories word up with some, I believe, 3mm foam adhesive just to make it go higher than all the other elements that I have adhered with foam adhesive on the background. So yes, I'm gonna add just some pieces behind it and come back with my title all adhered. And now, friends, let's move on to the fun part. In my opinion, embellishing those last little tidbits that will finish our layout and just tie everything together. So for that, I have a couple of little pieces that I want to add. The first one, I love this little word strip here that says, "May it never end." So I just was thinking of putting it down here, "Sweet memories, may it never end." I want to tuck in something here in my title because for me, it's a little bare. So I want to bring in some color because we have lots of orange here. So I'm gonna bring with the ice cream that yellow, the little red on the strawberry, and I will have to tuck things under here a bit because I have that foam in the title. I want to bring in that purple in the grape and just tuck those in. Okay, and here at the top, I want to bring, I have this little like circle and I want to put it there. As you can see, I'm bringing more color on each of my clusters. I also think this summer living would look great up here at the top and bring that beautiful green color. So to finish things off, I want to bring this little layered stickers that are just the most beautiful thing that I've seen, and the puffy stickers, and I want to add those in some of my hexagons. So here I love the sweet life, and just let me find the places where I love, but you can look and see what works for your story. So slice of joy, maybe could work here. And I like working in threes. So maybe so lovely would work good here. And that way we have that 3 pieces. I also have this Tutti Frutti one that I like that brings in that white. So not sure, friends. I think I like this one better. So you see that brings in that different element. And then we can go ahead and sprinkle around this fun little embellishments. Okay, friends, and this layout is finally done. I've added the 3 hearts. I actually popped them up with some foam adhesive. I sprinkled all around some fun little puffy stickers just to add even more interest. So this layout makes you want to keep on discovering what's next, what's underneath, what's inside the hexagons, full of texture, just like I love them. And all I need to add is my journaling of the challenge that we put together for my girl on our vacation. And this layout will be ready to go to my album. So if you want to check the hip kits out, don't forget that you can use my code Gloria for a 10% extra discount on your next order. And don't forget to tag me if you recreate this layout. Until the next time, this was Gloria Parra for Hip Kit Club. Bye, friends!